All right, y'all. We had to start the stream over because it locked. I forgot what I was talking about. Where we at?
I just read Psalms 101.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're communicating with people, you have to, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, to those who are under the law, that's under the law. To those that are, he communicated with it from the point of reference of what they could understand. That takes skill. Like we talk about this all the time. Do you want to communicate what's right, or do you want to be right? And a lot of people, when they come in communicating with people with the word, they want to be right under the guise of God is right, but this is really you. You know what I'm saying? Because see, a lot of people think I don't give a damn. Man, I already know what I stand on. Man, I share it with you. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. If you think I'm finna go back and forth with you for days, hours, and weeks and months on end about something, you lying to me. And I'll talk, look at, that's a different, right? If you want to holler at me and we having a conversation, that's different. It don't matter if we agree, we agree. If we don't, we don't. I don't care nothing about that. You can share your point of view. I can share mine. We can have a conversation. That's cool. That's what grown people are supposed to do. But if you think that I'm finna keep coming after you, oh, you're gonna agree with me, I'm cutting you up. I ain't got time for that. I don't care enough. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't care enough. All right, you don't believe it. What you want me to do? Make you believe it? I can't make nobody believe nothing. You know what I'm saying? You either believe it or you don't. And if you don't, that ain't the end of the world to me. Because just because somebody don't believe what you saying to them, what he told you in Romans, does that make the faith of Elohim of none effect? God forbid. So you don't believe it, that mean it ain't true? All right, you don't believe it then. What you want me to do? Now, some people may look at that as being nonchalant or dismissive. I look at it as I'm doing what the man told me to do. You know what he told you to do in Matthew 10:7? Share your testimony. And if they receive it, then let your peace come upon that house. But if they reject it, then dust your feet off and go about your business. It's nothing personal. People take people not agreeing with their doctrine personally. Or some men feel the need, especially on Clubhouse, they feel the need that they have to go around chopping up niggas' doctrines every day. Yeah, I don't. Slow on, AJ. Yeah, I don't. I really don't. And I only tell y'all that to have that problem. It's for your own peace of mind. Because you're going to stress yourself out trying to get somebody to agree with you who's already told you, I don't believe in what you're saying. And what you going to do? Keep talking to them? So just so you can say, I converted them? Like, what's the point? Man, drop the word on and go on about your business. If the Lord turn them from opposing himself, then praise be to Yahuwah. And if he don't, then praise be to Yahuwah. Because if it was Yahuwah's will for him to be saved, praise God. And if it's his will for them to go to hell, then praise God. Like, what you want me to do? It's not my determination. But you know what he told everybody that you're supposed to provoke one another with love, so you can provoke them to good works. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to provoke somebody to agree with your doctrine, how about you provoke somebody to actually be just and merciful and righteous and godly and humble and have some self-control? Big grown rusty niggas watching porn, beating and meat all day, then come to you talking about the word of God. Nobody want to talk to you, Mr. Sticky Hands. Come on, man. We good in Psalms 1. You can come to John 1:29. Oh, for real, man. These niggas be capped out, man. I ain't on none of that junk. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas be out here be extra freaky, extra evil. Dudes be ready to box some word. Man, I'm not finna fight a nigga because he don't agree with me. All right, you don't agree with me then. What you want me to do? I ain't gonna lie, too many people is too emotionally invested in that type of stuff, man. That junk ain't good. John 1:28. Or 29, I'm sorry.
So the next day, John seen Yahushua coming unto him and said, Behold, the Lamb of Elohim,
which do what?
Which take away the sin of the world.
Tell him what sin means, man.
That's hamartia. That is To wander from the law of Elohim, to violate Elohim's law, sin. That which is done wrong, sin and offense, a violation of the divine
Now
law.
saying it in Hebrew is kat or kata. You know what I'm saying? This, that, then the third. Now I'm mentioning this here, right? To take away the sin of the world. Now, how is this going to relate back to Egypt? Because we talk about freedom. That's what we're here for. We talked about free among the dead a while back. But now this man talking about if the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. And your forefathers were set free from bondage and oppression. Now we commemorating this night, and we didn't get to 1 Corinthians 11 on the bread of affliction. Run that for me about verse 17. He came to set you from the bondage of oppression of sin. See, at the end of the day, Mike, I think Ecclesiastes, he tell you, if you behold oppression in the province, he said, don't marvel, for he that is higher than high see it. But see, the oppression that comes from sin, that's something that people can't see. The only person who can see that is the person suffering through it. Now, oppression in the flesh is hard, but he said the way of transgressors is hard. You know what I'm talking about? Because you under the same oppression, but that oppression is different because you being oppressed spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And you know what the crazy part is? You ain't being oppressed by another person. You being oppressed by yourself. Your desires are oppressing you. You know what I'm talking about? And because those desires are oppressing you, now sin can oppress you, and now death can oppress you. So he came to set you free from that. See, and we done talked about this in the past. Satan Pharaoh is representative of Satan. And then depending on, the angle we want to take testimony-wise, Pharaoh's representative of Yahushua, but that's another conversation for another day. Because remember, he said, I raised you up for this particular purpose to make my power known in you. We've dealt with that before. We probably have to bring it back out sometime during this week, maybe. Or somebody will hear that and be like, that sounds crazy. But it don't. We done talk about how the firstborn in Egypt, that was damn near 10 years ago, that died as representative of the Lord. He paid the price. The firstborn son paid that price to set you free. You didn't realize the Egyptians' firstborn son, testimony-wise, is representative of the Son of God to set you free. He said the firstborn son of Pharaoh got to die, right? Firstborn son of the chief Pharaoh, or Pharaohs, if you want to call it that, guess what he had to do? He died to set who free? To set the children of Israel free. To free them from the oppression and the bond. And guess what he did with Pharaoh and his armies when they came after you? What he did to him, Sid? And that's what he did with your sins. That's why you get baptized as representative. Drown that in the sea, let that die there. Which is why he said all that stuff you did in Egypt on the other side of the flood, leave that over there. We're going to a new and living way. You know what I'm saying? It's all there. This is not, you know what I'm saying? But guess what, Sid? That's not explicit. You had to read in between the lines. Yeah, it don't explicitly say that. So they're like, no, that ain't what that means. Well, it ain't what it mean then. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, they don't mean that then. But those who have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to understand, they'll be converted and be healed because they see God working. See, what I mean by this is, remember he said, Kadash Abba, he said, they have not known you. Those who know God work, they going to see it. If you say this and this and say, hey, this line up with you, be like, that's God's work. I see his work. Now, you remember when we told them boys about Adam dying for a wife? They lost their mind. They couldn't see the word. And guess what I did, Sibby? I let them argue amongst themselves. Then I said what I had to say, and I stepped out the way. And y'all can fight and argue amongst yourselves. Because if you think I'm finna argue with you, and because some people think when you say things, oh, this is a new doctrine, I'm like, oh, we've been on this for years. It's new to you. You know why it's new to you? Because I don't feel the need to go everywhere and say, hey, I got this. We don't have a doctrine. We have the witness. And there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? When you got a doctrine, it's like what it's saying in Corinthians. You know what it's saying in Corinthians? 1 Corinthians 14. You know what he said about a doctrine in there? What did he say about a doctrine in there? Which one of you gentlemen can tell me what Paul was saying about a doctrine in 1 Corinthians 14? Everybody got a doctrine. And what else he said they had? Everybody got a Psalms. Everybody got a revelation. No, we don't do that. We have a testimony. And we can share that testimony with you. And if you believe that testimony, then you're set to the seal that Elohim is true. And that's it. When you have a doctrine, then and I'm not saying this to be disparaging. I'm telling you this for you to have an understanding of the thought process. When you have a doctrine, then it is imperative that people accept that teaching. So you want people to accept that teaching. So you have to present this to everyone about this teaching. Because contrary to what you might think, a lot of brothers just want to be the first one to say they came out with a teaching. And they move that way. But anybody who actually labor in the vineyard, guess what they would know? That any teaching you could come up with, a man of God in a generation before you already preached it. And a man of God in a generation before him already preached it. Because you know what you're concerned with? That the Father in heaven is esteemed through the preaching of his Son, and that if one soul believe, so that the angels in Shamahim might rejoice, so that man's name be written in heaven. These niggas in the business for the wrong thing. That's why they ain't getting paid. They're in the game for the wrong reasons, man. You can't help nobody with that type of thought. There is not, if you work for God, you not coming with no new doctrine. Because it's already been preached. You know what he said in John chapter 4? You are coming into what? Other men's labors. That means somebody was working in this before you got here. So you're not coming up with nothing. If you coming up with nothing new, you pulled that out your butthole. You made that up. Because no man who worked for God would say, I got a new doctrine, because he would already know. Ain't nothing new under the sun, baby. This already been preached. You know how you know it ain't no new doctrine? Because anything you can come up with, the Lord taught it to him when he resurrected from the dead. So you know more than the Lord. My God, today. That's a problem, man. It's big problem. I seen the need talking about people getting up. Why people was upset with your boy locking niggas in the spot. Well, we know he ain't lock them in now. We talking about that's a problem. It's the people who, man, look here, man. It's not the issue that he shut the doors. You know what the issue was? Shouldn't have had it on camera. And you wouldn't have to worry about that. That was church business, and you should have left it there. You know what I'm saying? If it was imperative, like, hey, we need to raise such and such, cut the cameras off, nigga. But you know what the problem is? You want everybody to see everything. Man, everything, cut the goddamn camera off. No, it wouldn't. No, because the people in the church, because a lot of people who've been to church say, oh, we didn't experience this before. Once I seen a lot of church people say, oh, yeah, we didn't experience that before. So then I would know, okay, this ain't a new thing. So if it's not a new thing for these people, then that tells me that's church business. And if that's church business, cut the feed off. Because this means I need to talk about, don't worry about the saints who not here, because you want them to send some bread. Focus on the saints who here. Yeah, you can't do that. That's what make you look bad. If he would have cut the camera off, nobody wouldn't have had nothing to say. Because you say you were raising money for a specific purpose. So that's church business. Cut the camera off and let everybody know, hey, we got this going on. We're trying to do this. We need to do this. If you could drop this, then drop that. That's not that hard. But everybody want that camera on. So you brought that on yourself. Guess what? And then you know what? If it's global, post it on your website. You know what I'm saying? Put the post on your website. You get on camera and say, hey, we're trying to do such and such. It's on the website. Well, this is what Mika said. He said they shut the doors doing tithing, but they didn't do anything like that at all. But the doors were quietly shut, and you didn't have. And I'm only because I don't know. Shalom, 10K. I don't know from personal experience. So I'm pulling this from the experience. I've seen people who go to church who were commenting on it, who were saying this is not irregular.
At church, they close the door and start preaching. When the preacher start preaching, they shut the door. I ain't never heard them shut the door.
Nigga say that's what she said. She done experience. He said going back to the point earlier about appearance. Yeah, like you said, that the appearance of that was evil. So you set yourself up for that. You know what I'm saying? Because that wasn't a good look. You caused the ministry to be blamed. Regardless how you feel about his doctrine, that's irrelevant. He say he represent God. You just made God look bad. Now, he may have not had evil intent, but you made him look bad. That was a bad move. He said, I don't know what mega churches they go to, but he was behaving irregularly. I don't know. I can't speak on it, so I have to definitely draw from people who have experienced this perspective because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He said, my bro said it's common at Pentecostal churches to do that. Yeah, during tithing.
That's different.
But I don't think it's more like lock you in here type deal. It's like, hey, shut the doors. Because
you going about the result, like when the ushers put hands on them, you trying to leave?
I don't think they would stop nobody from leaving. I think it's probably more a discretion thing based off the video. Now, he a Hebrew preacher, though, but he got experience. You know your man. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I just know it looked bad.
But you know, come from people in that type of church, man. That door, the door shut the whole time. They ain't never open.
Now, I could go for that. It's shut till it's over.
Yeah, it's shut till it's over.
No, he's saying like at Geno Dinner Church, he said the door shut till it's over. Meaning when as soon as service start, door shut. And I can see that. What the door open for? Close the door. I don't think the door's locked, but it's more so it's just shut the door. What you got the door open for? Close the door to the sanctuary, shut the door. Yeah. Whoever in here is in here. That ain't also to keep people from getting out, it's to keep niggas from coming in. And we started at 2 o'clock and you walking in at 2:45, you AOL. We ain't opening the door for you. No, they wasn't they wasn't gonna do all that. Tavon said they definitely closed the doors during that operation. He said he's never not seen it. And it's not the doors to the whole building, it's the doors to the sanctuary. It's not the doors to get out, it's the doors to the sanctuary. That's to keep people from coming out and going in. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't think that that's an irregular thing to do. He said, I went to a revival. They started at 6:30. We ain't leave till 3 a.m. That was embarrassing. Pastor talking about God want us to stay because he's moving amongst us. But at them revivals, them people do be there like that, though. They do be there like that, though. They do be there for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, man. Some might be there for 24 hours.
When you get in the sanctuary, I'm gonna be like,
He said, and the ushers stand in front of the doors, hands folded like security. But he talking about that's the sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? Like, say if this was a door right here to the sanctuary, they gonna close that. That's the same token, like what you talking about, like ain't no everybody getting up, running forward to the bathroom. You not finna be getting up. Oh, I'm hungry. You ain't doing none of that. You in here. Yeah, you in here. Because once you walk out that door, unless it's for a real deal, you're not coming back in there. Once you leave, you're not coming back. Because that's a distraction. They don't want people coming in and out.
That's their job.
Yeah, that's their job. They don't want people coming. I mean, but that's what it say in the book. A doorkeeper, a porter. Yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, though, it's disrespectful for niggas to be getting up, walking around, your children running around, all that. No, them people not on that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because they got it like this here. If you, once you go on the other side of that door, of that sanctuary, you can't come back in here because you think it's a game. That's what they shut them down. You can't. So like when they shut that sanctuary door, if you wasn't in here to tie, well, shoot, you won't tie today. You know what I'm talking about? They're gonna be like, make sure it's 40 niggas left in the bathroom. Well, I don't care who in the bathroom. Door shut. Yeah, door shut. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wait till we done. But I said, even if his intent wasn't evil, he made it evil. Because if you don't know nothing about nothing and you see that and shut the doors, that look terrible. That look terrible. There ain't no way around that. Yeah, Rob said, and it's a safety protocol. Yeah, all that there, man. Like I said, if you don't go to church and you ain't experienced that, you're going to look at that like, oh, hell no. But you know what I'm saying? But like Tavon just said, if you used to it, you already know what happened. You know what went down, why it went down. You ain't pay that no mind. I only mention that because the brother who made the video was like, it's only people who are not a part of the body that have negative things to say about that. Meaning, he was saying non-church goers. You know what I'm saying? And I can see his point of view. You know, I just crack jokes about it, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. Because if they were trying to raise something and he asking people for $20 a piece, he wasn't asking nobody to go broke. You know what I'm saying? $20 ain't gonna break nobody unless you really broke. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna break. If it's 200 people in here or 2,000 people in here and you asking for $20, if $20 gonna break, it don't matter because we need to give him $20 once we pick some of this up. If we picked up 40,000, they're just gonna get that brother 1,000. We keep 39 because he broke. You know what I'm talking about? And not broke like we picking on him like, hey, he down bad. I know we said we needed to do this here. We need to help Brother Johnson out. He put his last dub in here. He put his last dub in here. We can't let him put his last dub because that's how that stuff supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? You collect all that stuff and it's supposed to get dispersed out to beneficial reasons. I think they were raising that for a convention. If we got to spend $40,000 for a convention, that God don't want us to do that. Because there's no way we should be spending $40,000 to go try to preach no word. That's too much money. You know what I'm saying? To be asking the saints to do this here, for them to come to some different location to hear the same word they could have heard here for free. No. I don't understand the convention either. If you want to have a convention, that's fine. Pay for that out your pocket. Don't ask the people to pay for that. Because usually the convention going to be somewhere where all the people can't go. But what's the point of that? Because you want to rent out a venue? Well, check this out. If you got a surplus of funds in the stash, then you be like, hey, we want to rent this venue out. We're going to spend such and such. I think them people be wasting money on stuff that don't need to be. You could have gave that to the Pope. You could have gave that to somebody down bad than to be doing that. You could have redispersed that amongst the people than just be spending money on the convention. That's a waste of money. That's a waste of money. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a waste of money. I don't think, man. I think once you get over $5,000 for an event, what you doing this for? And $5,000 is a stretch, in my opinion. But that's just me. What we asking?
1 Corinthians 11:17.
Run that for us.
Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not that you come together, not for the better, but for the worse.
For the worse.
For first of all, when you come together in the assembly, I hear that there be divisions among you, and I partly believe it. For there must also be heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. When you come together, therefore, to one place, this is not to eat the Lord's supper. For in eating, everyone take before his own supper, and one is hungry and another is drunken. Would have you not houses to eat and drink in? Despise you the assembly of Elohim, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this?
I praise you not.
For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you.
What you delivered?
That the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake and said, He brake and said,
what he said?
Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
Now you got to realize that lamb that they came out and took was broken for them. And they tell you that you're supposed to do this in remembrance of what? What, when you came out of Egypt, correct? Okay, go ahead.
After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do you as often as you drink in remembrance of me.
What else?
For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he comes. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. So let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eat and drink unworthily eat and drink damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are
now read unworthily. Rodman mentioned he done slid though. He said he don't mind the request to give. It's the manipulation to get people to give, and that's the issue. I say, well, that look bad. That's why I say cut the camera off. Because if it was really for the people to give, like we trying to do this here, you don't need exposure. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for that. But a lot of dudes don't be thinking about none of that stuff because, like I said, that junk look bad. And to somebody who not in the word, it make them not want to fool with it. You know what I'm saying? See, some of y'all who've been to church, you understood what happened. You might have saw it and cracked a joke and laughed about it and moved on. But to somebody who don't know nothing about nothing, they go to preacher stealing again. You know what I'm saying? Like we just said, though, that come off as manipulation. That's not a good look. You know what I'm talking about? And it ain't nowhere around that. Come on, Sylvia, what's unworthily?
Noxios, that's in an unworthy manner, irreverently, unworthily.
Now, let me give you the definition for irreverent in English. You know what it means to be irreverent, Sylvia? To be irreverent is no respect for things that are generally taken seriously. So when he say you take it unworthily, that means you're showing no respect. So how do you not show respect? Scripturally, how are you going to look at that and say this person has no respect for God? Yeah, that's one of them. But you know what it is? To not fear him at all. If you have the ability to sin consistently, you have no respect. None. Shalom, Nola. Give me Psalm 111 and 10, man. I think we read this the other day.
I was thinking too, like if you already taking it for you saying you acknowledge God.
You already say that you have respect for him. And if you have respect for him, then you're going to have reverence to his name. And you're going to have reverence to obey him. Remember, he said, if he was to number iniquity, mark iniquity, who would stand? He said, but there's forgiveness with him that he might be yireh, or feared, or reverenced, or respected. So when you look at taking the cup unworthily, it's because you don't have respect for him. And that's what he means. And the only way you don't have respect for him is because you was living with no respect by the time the cup came round. Proceed, sir.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever.
His praise endure forever. She said, I shared this story before. I went to a revival at my church. There was a guest pastor. He said, y'all not tithing God. Y'all tipping God. I said, we tipping you. And I went to a non-denominational rally. That's a wild thing to say in front of a group of people. Y'all not tithing, you tipping God. That's wild. But remember what the man told you, the abundance of the heart. Shalom, Sister Gwen. Abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. The man telling you what type of time he on. Do you know how arrogant of a man you got to be to stand in front of a group of people and say that? That's wild. That's wild. That is wild. Huh? That nigga wants money. That's it. Yeah. And he felt, and he was arrogant enough to say that and feel like y'all still gonna put this money in their plate. You still gonna get to him. Because he basically telling them, y'all ain't paying enough. You know what I'm saying? He probably tried to thought he was saying it in a funny way, but he was basically saying, y'all ain't gave me enough money. Send it back around. That's disrespectful. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? That's wild. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna lie to you. The reality is, man, I done told you before, we done showed you this out the word. If a nigga's always asking you for money, man, you already know God ain't with him. Man, the people ain't walk around asking nobody for no money. Where do you sit back and you find one godly man asking people for money? Now, you got this about the closest you gonna get. I'm gonna give you a free one. Cyrus told all the people to make sure the men of God had the bread they needed to get the work done. But that was the king. So he don't count. But where you seen Isaiah or Jeremiah? Matter of fact, what he told the apostles when they hit the road. Don't take nothing with you. Say the laborer is worthy of his hire. He put it on the people to do it. But that's different because they moving around the neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about? But as far as the Levites in the temple, they ain't asked nobody for no bread. Samuel didn't ask Saul them to bring him no bread. Elisha didn't ask that woman to make that bed. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, that's supposed to be a telltale. You know what I'm saying? But we live in a different time, so niggas don't think it's nothing to see the Cash App tag running at the bottom, the PayPal tag running at the bottom. you know, if you want to give a donation, and I ain't knocking nobody who do that because that's the standard of how people act. But when you look at that word, though, then people wasn't asking nobody for nothing. And you know why they weren't asking nobody for nothing, Silver? Nah, because they either was going to do it or they weren't. And that's it. But guess what they was going to do? Word was going to get preached regardless. The word was going to get preached regardless. And I get it. When the time we live in, people feel like they need, I need to travel here. You don't need to travel nowhere. You want to travel there. Maybe God wants you to preach right here. Because guess what? Peter wasn't going around preaching everywhere. Peter stayed right in Jerusalem where the Lord told him to stay at. Paul ain't had no bunch of bread, but the Lord got him where he wanted him to go at, because that's where I wanted you to. You want to go to them places. Instead of letting him direct you to them places, you trying to force yourself to them places. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't comfortable doing the work in a 5-mile radius, you ain't going to be comfortable doing it in a 300-mile. Because regardless of where you was at, you was going to do it regardless. Regardless if it's cameras on, you were going to do it. Regardless if it was 5 people or 5,000 people, you were going to do it. If it wasn't but one person in the wall, you was going to do it. Most of these dudes, they're not going to do it unless it's under the most ideal of situations and circumstances. Like, I never understood the going on the street corner and cutting the camera on, and you the only nigga out there. You remember your mans them used to be outside. You know Jackson. You remember Jackson? You know what I'm saying? His name Jackson. Jacksonville. The Lord sent him here. You don't know about that shit. You were not that way. You was out there? Nah, you wasn't out there.
I listened to you.
That's about the same. Who was out there? You was out there? You was out there? I know he was out there when that nigga, they called me Jackson. Them boys go out there and post up in front of the Cumber Museum. And nigga, ain't nobody over there. How many black folks you ever seen at the Cumber Museum? On a random Saturday. In your entire life. Come on, man. Them boys used to post up at Hammond Plaza. Well, you know, full well, there ain't nothing but crackheads and homeless people at Hammond Plaza on the side. They done ran all the homeless people away. They don't even hang out there no more. They uploaded on YouTube like you did, son. You didn't do that because you wanted to preach some words, because you shouldn't even brought that camera with you. You should have just went out there. If you got to go outside and take a camera with you to preach, man, you need to check your spirit. You know what I'm saying? You took a camera with you? Not you took a camera because we just finna have service outside. We want to record it. You took a camera with you to stand in front of a building and talk to no one. I told you it was a brother. He got a camp down here. I forget the name of it. And I talked to him one time, and he was like, yeah, man, we want to go out in the street and do this here. I said, bro, I ain't going to lie to you. So straight him down. I said, don't do it. I said, no, I would tell him, because Jacksonville is not city. Jacksonville is not Chicago. Jacksonville ain't nobody downtown on a Saturday afternoon, bro. Don't go down there. He ain't believe me. Guess what he started doing probably about a year or so ago? Stop going down there. He stopped going down there. He thought I was trying to discourage him. Say your mom always bragging about her pastor's cars. He driving them. How you brag about your pastor driving a Porsche Panamera and you catching a bus? He driving a Porsche, you driving a Mitsubishi. That ain't nothing to brag about. That's crazy. That's a crazy world we live in, man. I don't even know about it. How you brag about somebody else's car? All y'all help pay for it. Lord ain't bless him. I take that back. A Lord did bless him. It wasn't the Lord of heaven and earth, though. It was Beelzebub. I guarantee you, none of the apostles would have been nobody would have gave them enough bread to go and cop no Porsche. Say they use that scripture that says, I mean, the elder is worthy of double honor, but he ain't worthy to be driving around in a Porsche. Now we were talking about that verse the other day, Drake. You know what I'm saying? It do say that. We didn't read that definition. That's what I was telling you about the conversation we were having about that. I don't really feel like discussing that though. Go ahead. Not the shot of dry. I just don't feel like discussing that. We talked about that a little bit. Yeah, go ahead. What'd you say?
So we go home on the left. That was the end of that.
Yeah. She said, I shared this story before I went to revival at my church. There was a guest pastor. Oh, you already read that. It just popped up again. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying that was the end of that.
Oh, what was that for? John 1:29. Muffin man. Why you always trying to hide from me, son? What's your problem? But you look like that. Sunday man, I can see. You're doing a piss poor job of hiding if that's what you're trying to do. Go ahead.
So the next day, John seen Yahusha coming unto him and said, Behold, the Lamb of Elohim, which take away the sin of the world.
So again, we talk about how does he take the sin of the world away? Again, we talk about that he's taking the oppression away. Verse 30.
This is he of whom I said, after me come a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me, and I knew him not, but that he should be made manifestly after all. Therefore am I come baptizing with water. And John bare record saying, I saw the Ruach descending from Shamahim like a dove, and it abode upon him.
And I knew him not.
But he that sent me to baptize with water, the same said unto me, upon whom you shall see the Ruach descend, and remaining on him, the same is he which baptized with the Ruach HaKodesh.
And I saw.
And bear record that this is the Son of Allah.
Now we establishing that he is the Lamb to take the sin away from the world. Go back to Exodus 12, let me get to Deuteronomy 16. And I'm going to read two examples from somewhere else that they didn't keep Passover at individual homes after coming out of Egypt. So I'm reading verse 3, Deuteronomy 16. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. Oh, yeah. Where am I taking that? You went outside. Oh, Mama Steph said the album was fine. I had sung her Glory. She really loved Glory. Then I sung another song that and then she bought the album. But I don't know how she bought it. She got Apple Music, so it should have been free. But she said she bought it. So you shall eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread therewith. The bread of affliction, for you came forth out of the land of Mizraim in haste, that you may remember the day when you came forth out of the land of Mizraim all the days of your life. There shall be no leavened bread seen with you in all your coast 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which you sacrifice the first day of even remain all night until the morning. You may not sacrifice the Passover within any of your gates, which Yahuwah your Elohim give you. If you can't sacrifice it at any of your gates, what that means is, that means you can't sacrifice it at home. But at the place which Yahuwah your Elohim shall choose to place his name in, there shall you sacrifice the Passover at even at the going down of the sun, at the season that you came forth out of Mizraim. You shall roast and eat in the place which Yahuwah your Elohim shall choose, and you shall turn in the morning and go where, Civic? Until your tent. That's what that means. You're going. You're going home. So that means everybody brought a Passover sacrifice there. Then it was sacrificed there. And you ate it there. Not at your house. Oh, let me read that again. Where did it say you got to go, Civic?
Into your tents.
Into your where?
Into your tent.
My God, today. Let me look over here to 2 Chronicles 35. Now you got 2 Chronicles 35 and 1. Come on over here. The other one is in Ezra, by the way. Moreover, Josiah kept the Passover under Yahuwah in Jerusalem. They killed the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. He set the priests in their charges and encouraged them to do them to the service of the house of Yahuwah. And said unto the Levites that brought all Yasharah, which were Kadash unto Yahuwah, and put the Kadash ark in the house which Solomon the son of David of Yasharal did build. It shall not be a burden upon your shoulders. Serve now Yahuwah your Elohim and his people. Yasharal. Now let's back this up now. Let's look at verse 3, Civic. What he said to the Levites? He said they put the ark where? He said it wouldn't be a burden where? On your shoulders. Now, why do you think it would make reference of carrying this covenant wouldn't be a burden on their shoulders? Because that's what they carry. When you're carrying the ark, you're carrying the king and you're carrying the covenant. Now, I want y'all to let that flow through your brain for a moment. And how are we going to relate that into the witness, into the testimony? How does this relate to the testimony of the Son of God? I read you verse 4. And prepare yourselves by the house of your fathers after your courses, according to the writing of David, king of Yasharal, according to the writing of Solomon his son. Now, what's going to go on it? They sacrificed the Passover in Jerusalem. People weren't sacrificing that at their house because that's not what, clearly you just read that in Deuteronomy 16. That's not what they're supposed to do. But I want you to focus on put the ark in the house which Solomon did build, so it will not be a burden on your shoulders, so you can serve the people.
I would throw that verse like in Hebrews 8, like pretty much you taking that same word, that covenant, put it in your heart.
Now let's take a look at this here, right? If you put the ark in the house, what have you placed in the house? Yeah, because what's in the ark? The 2 tables of stone. The covenant is there. Now he says, so it's not a burden on your shoulders. So let's do this here. Let's go to Matthew 10. What is it? 10, it's 11. It's 11. 11 and 25. And rock it like that.
Say at that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank you, O Abba, Lord of Shamahim and earth, because you have hid these things from the wise and prudent.
And showed them to who?
Revealed them unto babes.
What else?
Even so, Abba, for so it seemed good in your sight. All things are delivered unto me of my Abba, and no man knows the Son but the Abba. Neither know any man the Abba save the Son.
Come on.
To whomsoever the Son will reveal.
Come on.
Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart. You shall find rest unto your souls.
You find what?
Rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Now, who carried the burden? Because beforehand, pause. Go to Numbers 18 and verse 1. Because who carried the burden of the house of the tabernacle? The Levites did. But once Mashiach was manifested, he took that burden, he carried it. You ain't got to carry that burden no more. Numbers 18 and 1. Come on.
Saying, Yahuwah said unto Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary.
You bear the iniquity of the who?
Of the sanctuary.
My God.
And you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. And your brethren also of the tribe of Levi.
Tell them what iniquity means, just so they make sure that's Avon. Who's pulling up in this? Somebody pulling up in this. Don't you skirt? Also, close the door.
That's our bone.
That's who?
Our bone.
Oh, bone, and you know that's what? Perversity?
Depravity, iniquity, guilt, or punishment.
The guilt of punishment of it. So they have to bear the punishment of the sanctuary. You got to bear the punishment of the sanctuary. Now, what's the punishment of the sanctuary? Can the sacrifices that the Levites make take away the punishment of the sanctuary? It's only one person who could carry that burden of removing that. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the kinsman redeemer. But continue on. In Numbers 18.
Saying your brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your fathers, bring you with you, that they may be joined unto you and minister unto you. But
you see how that go back? We were talking about how the quote unquote deacon or the minister is in the same facilitating role to the bishop as the Levites were to the high priest. Go ahead.
But you and your sons with you shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. They shall keep your charge and the charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come near the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor you also die.
See, the Levites could not come to any of those things that Aaron them could touch. Remember the dude who died because he touched the ark when he wasn't supposed to touch. You know, that man was real serious and real strict in detail about them type of things. But come over here to Hebrews 10. What time is it? We started at 8:30. Come over here to Hebrews 10 and 10. You can make it 8. Little boy, ain't nothing wrong with you, little boy. You doing too much. And you've been doing too much. Real animated. Real exaggerated.
So by the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahushua Mashiach once. And every priest stand daily ministering and offering of oftentimes the same sacrifices.
Which can what?
Which can never take away sins.
So, you know, if they're bearing the iniquity of the sanctuary, that they could never take that away. Now I'm gonna go back to 2 Chronicles 35, man. Give me that word for burden real quick. I just want to make sure it's the word that I'm thinking in my brain. It might not be. I can't recall off the top of my head.
That is Masal, a load bearing.
That's what I thought. So it's a load, it's a bearing, it's a burden. Now you go back and you look at Exodus, they were under burdens. Hold on. I think it's chapter 2.
Where you going?
What is that? What's the verse that I want, man? Now, of course, again, we talking about, you know, we during Passover season, so you talk about unleavened bread season, and you're talking about the aspect of freedom, and we were already discussing freedom, so it's right up there. Give me Exodus 1, man. Give me verse 7, if you would. I ain't even look. We ain't even talked about one of these things out of Genesis 4. Who we ain't did yet? We ain't did Benjamin yet. Come on with it. Exodus chapter 1, verse 7.
And the children of Yasharal
And
were
we ain't did
fruitful
Simeon and Levi yet either.
and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. And there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Yasharal more and mightier than we.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and it come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And when they fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us and get them up out of the land.
Get them out of here.
Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with
Tell
their
them what a
burdens.
taskmaster is, man. You got a taskmaster? Some of you niggas, Michael, you niggas freaky. No little Johnny on that type of time. He said, you got me messed up. Well, put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I don't know. He ain't hit a nigga with a shoe. He might be into that. You know, Michael got a catchphrase like that when we know she lying, just like you do. Michael hit the. Yeah, man. That's how we know you finna shoot us one.
You don't got no prayer. You got mine with.
I don't be lying though. Everybody in here know when you hit that shoe, a story coming with that, a fable, a tall tale. Talking about fictional writings.
Oh, ain't no king. You got king back.
Look at this thing here. Come on with it, man.
That's a mosque. That's a gang or body of forced laborers, task workers, labor band or gang.
A
Forced service. task
forced
force.
service. What we just read and what we started off reading, man. He say, he that commits sin is the what?
Service.
You know what I'm talking about? And the servant abide what? But if son make you free, and we talking about being free among the dead. You know, kosher, free from all debt, obligation, and tax. You don't commit sin, guess what you free from? All obligation and taxes out the window. That's why he say, guess what? What the ruach of the Lord is, there's liberty. You know what I'm saying? And when you sit back and you look at it, when the blood of that firstborn lamb brought them up out of there, they were free from what? All tax, debt, and obligation. You see that? You know what I'm saying? Like him, you know, he like to bleed all the time. That's what Ric Flair like to do. He loved to blade. That's what they call it. You don't know about that. You know about blading? That's what they, you know what I'm saying? If they good at it, you won't see them cut their forehead with the razor. John Moxley's terrible at it. So you always see him blade. Huh? That's scary. It's called a crimson mask. It's called getting color. That's what they call it in the business. You're getting color. Makes it more, you know, it's a real match. They're bleeding out here. They must have really don't like each other. But you don't use it all the time. You scared of a little blood? Come on, bud. Where we at with it?
We go back to this one.
No, keep read 11 again.
Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But
now, you mentioned this here. They got what on them?
Taskmasters.
And who afflicted them with what?
With their burdens.
Make sure it's the same word. Who's making all that noise? Got that boy around here screeching like a poop.
This is Sebalah. Burden, forced labor, compulsory service.
Compulsory service. Let me tell you something about, man, when you mired in all manner of lust like we talked about last week, man. When you got them things that's within the man that defiling, boy, you're going to be compelled to serve it. That's why he said, hey, man, he that commits sin is the servant of sin. But let's take it a step further. Romans 6:9. See, that man came to set you. See, it's bigger than just setting you free from Egypt and Pharaoh. That was representing a greater setting free later that most people don't appreciate. Because there's nothing for Yahuwah to set you free from under man's hands, but to set you free from the one thing that man cannot, a battle man can't win. Because remember, it said in Ecclesiastes, there's no discharge in this battle. What man can set you free from death? Not now. Not now one. That's a greater word. Because look here, man. Yahuwah can come through here and crash these crackers upside their head when he get ready. That's nothing. He done did it plenty of times. You know what I'm talking about? He cracked Pharaoh upside his head. He cracked the Philistines upside their head. It's nothing. That's nothing. I'm talking about that's life. That's like a drop in a bucket. And I ain't saying that to be hyperbolic. No. I'm saying that because that is just literally the case. Like, man, this man can free us from the hand of any people at any given time. That's a light matter. But to free you from the one thing that all men fear, the one affliction that all men fear, because I guarantee you, every adult on this stream, in this house, on this clubhouse, boy, you done seen a casket close on somebody. Do you know what I'm talking about? You done seen that before. And I guarantee you, if there was a way they could have fought, that they could have lived and not died, oh, they would have did it. But they couldn't win that battle. And guess what else they can't do once they hit that grave? They can't bring themselves out of that grave on their own power. Can't do it. So guess what Elohim do? Let me go ahead and manifest in the flesh and let me do it. And let me do it. You know what I'm talking about? And that way that your works do follow you. So when you hit the grave, you know what I'm saying? You can sleep for a little season. Because you got some tikvah for you. You know, you got a hope and the expectation of an eternal reward. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about getting no riches and all this type of stuff. Man, we ain't talking about the riches that man can spend. Because he told you where he told you lay them treasures up at, Sid. Them durable riches. Ain't that what Proverbs say? Say we talking about, because what's the ransom of a man's life, Sid? My God, today. Because through his poverty, you know, you were made what? You think he made you rich with some Federal Reserve notes, my nigga? Or some gold bars? I mean, the riches of God last longer because they're eternal. But it's not something that most people want. It's not something that most people want. Because they want to stun on somebody. Man, the natural riches come with that. That's what niggas don't understand. If he giving you riches from heaven, the natural riches come with it. That man says he can literally take a beggar from a dunghill and say, like, that's nothing. Like, people look at a certain stuff that they be stressing about, bro, that junk is nothing. For this man to make you rich, that is nothing. That's nothing. But again, people don't value that. That's not important to them. Because I want what the white man got. I want what the nations got. You know what I mean? You know, that's why he told you don't envy sinners. What you envying them for? When he already told you that they'll bring all their wealth and riches to the temple in Jerusalem. That's nothing. That man don't even want that crap. That's for my old lady. Y'all don't get that. But that ain't what niggas want. So it is what it is. He said, I was just talking with somebody about anesthesia and how it puts you out during surgery and you wake up like nothing ever happened. I can only imagine a resurrection scene like it now. Shoot, it ain't no different than when you sleep. Yeah, it's just like that. Man, when you sleep, you don't know what's going on around you. The only difference when you asleep and with that anesthesia, now I've never been under anesthesia, so I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? If your mind stopped, if your thoughts stopped. You know what I'm saying? See, the only difference, when you dead, your thoughts stop. See, that's the most, see, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's the most trepidizing part for most people, is because you know that your mind is going to shut off. You know what I'm saying? He tell you that the dead don't remember nothing. Your mind shut off. It's because your soul or your nephesh is your consciousness, which is you. See, the ruach that's in your lungs, that's the breath that comes from God. Then you got the ruach hakodesh that give you everlasting life, but that's not you. Your nephesh is you. And when you die, that's what gets extinguished. Mika said you have no thoughts or memory under anesthesia. Well, that's the same as being dead. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever been under anesthesia, that's what it's like to be dead. If you ain't got no thoughts, that's what it's like to be dead. According to what God said. You got no thoughts. That means when you was under anesthesia, you didn't even know you was under anesthesia. It's just like when you dead, you don't know you dead. You knew you was finna die before it happened, but once it happened, you don't know you dead. It's over. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, that's what Mother Sharon said. No streams, no nothing.
And it feels crazy when you wake up. Like every time I woke up, I cried because it feels crazy. Like because I couldn't have woke up. So some people don't wake up from it.
Dang.
You know.
How many of y'all in here been under anesthesia? Was it just like what they described?
I don't remember.
Ecclesiastes 9 that folks said. Jay says she been under anesthesia. Yeah, I ain't never had that experience. Yeah, that's how he cried. I had 5 surgeries, all cut up. You have no thoughts at all. But that's what it's like to be dead, according to what this book finna say. Ecclesiastes 9 and 4.
For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die. But the dead know not anything, neither have they any more reward.
The dead know what?
No, not anything.
Not nothing.
For the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love, their hatred, and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more portion.
Listen, all the love you have for people, gone. Any hatred you had towards it, and this ain't towards the individual. That if you walk around with love in you, that's great. But if you walk around with hatred and envy, look here, man, that's only affecting you. Except till you act out on your hatred and envy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Their love, their hatred, their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more portion forever in anything that is done under the sun.
She said, I freaked out when they said we gonna gave you some fentanyl. They gave me Benadryl to put me back to sleep. Jay said she ain't had no memory of what happened. 1 minute they gave me anesthesia, the next minute I was up going home. Well, that's how it's gonna be like when you woke up from anesthesia. That's what the resurrection of the dead gonna be like. You just gonna wake up. You ain't gonna know how your flesh got animated. You ain't gonna know how you just gonna be waking up. You're gonna be like, here it is. It's just same thing. Literally the same. Because I say I ain't know that. So yeah, if you ain't have no thoughts or dreams under anesthesia and you just wake up, that's how the resurrection of the dead is. You just gonna wake up. Remember, he said Lazarus, come forth. He just got up. Oh, we got a long way to go to that. Ain't nobody going to hell until after the 1 day reign, better known as the 1,000-year reign, is over with. Yeah, once Satan get released out to deceive the nations, and then Gog and Magog get killed with fire and brimstone from on high, and Satan get tossed in because the beast and false prophet already in the lake. Then Satan go in, and then the books get open, and then after that, niggas going in. But while you dead, man, ain't nobody in no kingdom, ain't nobody in no valley of Hinnom. You just Sheol just mean grave. Yeah, Sheol is the grave. Like when you tell somebody to go to hell, literally you just telling them to die. You know what I'm saying? In the literal sense, you know what I'm saying? But most people just say go to hell, meaning get out my face. But in the literal sense, if you were to tell you be like go to Sheol, you telling them to die. You know what I'm saying? But the actual place is the valley of Hinnom, the valley of Tophet, or the valley of Jehoshaphat. You know what I'm saying? That's a place outside of Jerusalem known as a dumping area.
So what about rest?
By who?
Rest.
What you mean?
Rest. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they just sleep.
They dead.
Rest.
Dead. Just like everybody else. They ain't no different.
I thought they resurrected.
The first resurrection, you know what I'm saying? That's in the Lord. But right now they dead. Just like everybody else. Resting with their fathers, how the book put it. Or sleeping with their fathers. But not dead in the sense that they dead going to hell. Because when we say he the God of the living, if his word is in you, then you're alive, even though you dead. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they in the grave. And they don't know nothing about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Once you hit that grave, it's over. Not even hit that grave. Once your heart start beating in that breath, it's over. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say, men are appointed once to die and then the judgment. Man, once you leave here, your tally's over with. You know what I'm saying? And I meant to deal with that because we need to deal with that in this regard, because that's what Egypt was about, and that's what the wilderness was about, was him searching the heart and trying the reins. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people look at, how does he do this and how he do that? He try you. He test you. He prove you. He gonna search you out and see what's in there. Some people he allow you to see what's in there so you can mortify that, and some people he pull that out so he can cut you off. It's all his prerogative, to be 100% honest with you. But yeah, that's just how that. Yeah, if that's how anesthesia is, that's literally how the death and resurrection gonna be. Because depending on how you die, you won't even know you died. You know what I'm saying? Like if you die in your sleep, you ain't gonna know your thoughts just gonna cut off. You ain't gonna know your thoughts cut off. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're in a situation and you die instantly, you may have had the trepidation to know it will come, but your thoughts off. Now, there's other instances where you could know, like, I'm dying. I told you, man, when I seen that body cam footage when JSO shot my homeboy, I seen it in his eyes. I stopped watching. I ain't even watching today. I seen in his eyes he knew he was dying. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. That's not something that you got to necessarily see, but I ain't gonna lie to you. You can see the fear of death in somebody's eyes. You ain't never had to see it before, but you know it when you see it, though. I can tell you that much. You know it when you see it. It's like a real live dilating of, like, the pupils get large. You can see the fear. And a lot of times they'll be dazing off in the distance. Like they looking at you, but they not looking at you. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. Like, like that doesn't mean they finna die. They definitely think they finna die. Junk hit different. You know what I'm talking about? It's something, like I said, it's not something that necessarily, you don't have to have a whole lot of experience with it. But when you see it, you know what you're looking at. You know, like, oh, this nigga finna die. Or they think they finna die. One or two. Yeah, Tavon just hit that. Hold on. Mika said, yeah, they say count backwards and you wake up not knowing what happened in between. I felt like they beat me up. And then Tavon says, same as you can tell when somebody is ready or made peace with it. Absolutely. Now, that I have not viewed. I ain't seen somebody like, I'm finna die and I'm cool with it. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't make it till when my daddy died before I could got there. But what my brother didn't describe, that's what he wore. Like, he was ready. He was cool with it. I'm ready to ride out. Because they told us he could live about another 3 to 6 months, and that man died 3 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? And he literally said, oh, I'm ready to roll. And he was like, I am somebody, this, that, and the third. That's somebody that made peace with it. I'm ready. Let's get this over with. You know what I'm saying? Some people think that's weird because a lot of people don't want to die. Some people don't care. They ready. They probably in pain, whatever the case may be, or they know, hey, ain't nothing that can be done. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like Scarface said, if you ain't peace with God, you need to patch it up. And they ready to roll, and it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, everybody got a date. That's it. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody got a date. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of people died today. A multitude of ages, too. A whole bunch of people. I'm talking about all across the world. A whole bunch of people died today. Man, every time we go to that doggone hospital to get them stretchers, man, it's at least, at minimum, a nigga walk past us with a dead body. At least one every time. It ain't never failed. You know what I'm saying? Dude coming in from the mortuary, he like this here. He say, nah, y'all can go ahead. I say, nah, nigga, you go ahead. You go ahead, get that up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be standing here. You know what I'm saying? He used to it, though. You know what I'm saying? He's standing there, nigga good and dead. I said, yeah, you go ahead, because you get the elevator. It's already going to be defiled once you roll it on here, so just go ahead and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? But you don't but somebody who in that environment, that junk ain't nothing to them. I don't even know how niggas could be a mortician. I couldn't do it. I couldn't be around death every day. Somebody got to do it. Yeah, they do. It ain't me. No, I don't want to be around death every day. I ain't talking about the dead bodies. I'm talking about the whole thing. Oh yeah, man. I don't want to be around that every day. You know what I'm saying? Nah, hell. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just that there. You got to deal with people's families. All that there, man. To the point where that happens, you get immune to it. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm good on that. Like some of them will give you, like the lady that ran the funeral home for them, it's condolence, but you don't really mean that. It's your job. I don't expect you to mean it, but come on, man. She's been doing it for 30 years. You know how many dead bodies she done seen? You know how many people she done buried? You know how many stories she done heard? It's only going to be a few deaths here and there that somebody come through that might touch it. Shoot, I was riding by Mount Creek the other day. The people, the funeral home my grandma was at. You know the one right before you get to 20th Street Expressway. You know what I'm talking about? Man, they had the garage doors up, nigga. You can see the refrigerator. Niggas dead niggas in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to realize that you riding past, you looking at that refrigerator. There's really people's bodies in there. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't want to see that every day. Man, you know how many times that funeral home asked me to come up there to see my mama? Come up there for what? To look at what? For what? Like, I don't want to do that, man. That ain't even because I'm in the word. Like, do that for what? Just stand here and look at a dead body? Stand there and look at a dead body for what? Man, I take it when it's time to. No, I'm not coming around here for that. Some people, they want to do that. They want to come up there every day, every time they call and see this and see that. Man, I'm good on that. You know, that's a personal preference. You said that wild. He said, my daddy said he was ready. I'm waiting on you, Lord. And he was looking at the ceiling groaning. He was sick and ready. He gave him 71 years. Well, shoot, he got to how long he say he gave you. He said, I saw one suffering from one, and what I believe was a change in heart. He said, so do those people who see the Lord return die? Some of them will, some of them won't. Matter of fact, we got a verse for that. Joel 3:14. I think I got the red. Well, did I get the resurrection out of dead out of Joel already? I did. And your other one was Chronicles, what? Or was it Sunday? Oh, we did get Chronicles. I know we did get. Yeah, we did. Come on, you finna get off here though.
Say multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahuwah is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
I had another one out of Joel for the rest of the day.
Yahuwah also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the Shamahims and earth shall shake, but Yahuwah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Yasharal. So shall you know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim dwelling in Zion, my Kadash mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be Kadash, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountain shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and the rivers of Yehudah shall flow with waters, and the fountain shall come forth at the house of Yahuwah, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Yehudah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Yehudah shall dwell forever, in Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahuwah dwell in Zion.
Go ahead.
That's the end of that.
Do you ready to say what he said be the hope and strength of his people? Read that again, because I ain't here. I was reading something. I'm sorry. Joel chapter 3 and what? 3 and 16. Read that again.
Say Yahuwah also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. Shamahim and earth shall shake, but Yahuwah, the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Yasharal.
So you got some people when the Lord comes, you know Revelation 1:7, what that say, don't you? And they were well because of him. Amen. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some people. I told you I had a dream about that one. It was years ago. That junk was vivid. Them niggas was scared. You got a lot of people like this here, boy, people scared. You understand me? All I seen was niggas running and dying. But just like he said right here, but those who believe, he'll be the strength of his people, because you know he'll keep you in perfect peace, who mind has stayed on you. Now, would you have some trepidation? Of course you would. He said it's a gloomy day, it's a dark day, a day like ain't nobody never seen. A day like if a man ran from a lion, he got caught by a bear. You know what I'm talking about? It got bit by a scorpion. He said, what you looking forward to that day for? You know what I'm saying? So to sit back and be like, you'll be like, nigga, that's your day. Oh yeah, you're gonna be nervous now. I ain't say scared. Because it's not gonna be like nothing you've ever seen. It's not even something that can even be put into words. You say, which was most likely cultural difference for because of family, very family. Oh, you talking about the what's the name? No, I think I'm reading that deeper. You talking about what the difference between the funeral home and what they did back in the day? Yeah, you know, back in the day, you buried your own people. And then, of course, you know, you bury people quickly. You know, Israelite custom is to bury people as quickly as possible. Huh? Yeah, you know, Israelite custom is to bury people as quickly as possible. Really, literally the same day. Now, of course, I mean, Muslims still move like that. You know what I'm saying? They bury them quick. That old drawn out process. That's why Britain was moving like that, because brother wanted to really do it according to custom. He didn't want no casket. He didn't want to be embalmed. And you know what I'm saying? Embalming is something that can't, because you know Jacob was embalmed. So you being embalmed ain't a sin or not a sin. That's just your personal preference. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't get embalmed, you're not having no open casket, because they're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to decay. No, if you don't get embalmed, they have to do immediate burial. No, I'm talking about they had it there. You can, if you have immediate burial, there's no service. They just gonna take the body from the funeral home to the cemetery and bury it. Ain't nobody gonna be there. That's just how that rolls. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you have a service, if you don't choose to get embalmed, you just can't have an open casket. Embalming is for the purpose of having an open casket. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's really all it's for. Not Egyptian time, because they came up with it. That's not what they intend for. You know what I'm saying? They believe you need to preserve the body to be able to enter into the afterlife. That's a whole other conversation. But in modern times in America, the purpose of embalming is to have an open casket. From what I've noticed, and I could be wrong, I haven't noticed that Caucasians really have a lot of open caskets. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak on Latinos because I ain't seen too many Latinos and Asian people funerals. But I know from my life experience, I don't know too many white folks that do open caskets. I know black folks love it. Boy, nigga love an open casket. You know? But I know why that's the case, though, in my personal opinion, is you just want to see this person one more time. Because I know white folks have wakes, but the casket don't be open, though. Niggas be having wakes. It be 50 niggas just sitting in seats looking at a dead body. The same way y'all sitting here facing it, but I done been to too many wakes where niggas just sitting in a room, ain't nobody saying nothing, sitting in chairs with a casket open. And I'm not going to that. Man, my auntie was the last wake I ever went to, man. I'm like, man, I'm not sitting in no doggone room with no dead body, just sitting, everybody just sitting here, looking at a dead nigga. That joint didn't make no sense to me. But I know that's for people who want to see the individual one more time who may or may not be going to the funeral. You know what I'm saying? So now, when my daddy had his wake, I couldn't go because it was on a Wednesday. I'm like, I got to preach, so I ain't coming. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going anyway, but I definitely was like, I'd be defiled. I'm not going to do that. Now, word-wise, I can be defiled for my father, but man, I'm not going to do that. We ain't had no wake for my mama because we wasn't paying for it. It was extra money. And I ain't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't want to do it. Sitting there for what? You think I'm finna have these children sitting in a doggone room just looking at a dead body? What are you gonna do that for? Now, why you want to sit that in their brain? Because they gonna remember that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm good. I'm not finna put that in their brain. But I can still remember being at my great granddaddy funeral. Man, I was 4. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm good on that. Yeah, I'm good on that. You don't do all that. But yeah, I'm gonna mention that because that's what she did for her husband, man. She ain't want, because he didn't want to be embalmed. He didn't want to open, and it is a difference. This is why if that's what you own, I'm be honest with you. Even though most of y'all married, if that's what you own, you need to make sure you got, because boy, your people gonna fight by that. Because I would wager his people probably had something to say, especially if you're not paying for it. See, if you ain't got the bread or the life insurance policy set to pay for your final arrangements, your people gonna cause a stir. I'm telling you that right now. You know what I'm talking about? They gonna be like, oh, we want the funeral on this day. We want it here. We want this. And if you ain't got set stuff, if you ain't got a strong backbone, they gonna bully you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have to worry about that personally. We did it how we did it because my uncle wasn't here. That's his last remaining sibling. I wasn't going to take him from the opportunity of laying eyes on this sister one more time. I wasn't going to do that to him. He didn't even really have to ask for, I'm going to make that accommodation for you. His parents gone, this your last sibling. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But like say, okay, you in the word, but your family not in the word. Now you pass. Now your people gonna try to especially if it's the husband, they gonna try to bully. They gonna try to bully your wife. Your people gonna try to bully her into doing what they want her to do. I'm gonna tell you how people do now. Cause look at my daddy wasn't in no word, and our people were trying to bully us into doing what they wanted, even though my daddy had explicit instructions on exactly what he wanted. You know what I'm talking about? But niggas still put, my grandma like this here, nah, I want this. We like, man, Pop don't want that. My auntie like this here. I already told you, man, my auntie said, hey, man, we say, hey, man, my older brother say we need the money for my daddy affairs. She say, your daddy dead, he ain't got no affairs. And I'm like, and I ain't got no auntie, ho. And I feel that way to this day. I ain't got no respect for that hoe. And I say that literally. I'm not saying that to be facetious or funny. That's literally that's how you feel about your brother. Screw you, hoe. And I feel like that to the day I die. I don't fool with you. You know what I'm talking about? And one of my cousins stood up in the house and say, hey, you did this when my mama died. So you got a pattern of this type of behavior. So yeah, I'm good on you. Now I'm with you on that much. Yeah, I'm good on you. But I'm telling you, people will do that. Because you got to understand something. When you going through that, man, you going through a time of mourning and grieving. You're not going to be at your best per se. And people try to take advantage of that to get what they want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they gonna take advantage of that. No, we need it like this here. Hey, because hey, if you say you don't want an open casket, then hey, that's what it is. If you say you don't want no funeral, then that's what it is. If you say, hey, I don't want to be in no church, then that's what it is. And you got to have, I know people don't like to think about it, but it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Sure as doo-doo stink, and that sun rising up in the morning, well, you're hitting that grave. So the best thing to be is that you be free and liberated before you hit it. But then you ain't got no concerns, you know what I'm talking about, when your TV get cut off. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you're going to have no, because a lot of people got concerns, you know, when the lights go off and the credits start rolling. See, some of y'all too young to remember when TV literally went off. Like if you stayed up late enough, the junk would just go boo, and it ain't nothing to air until it's time to air again. You know what I'm saying? When that happened, you gotta make sure your soul in order. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got trepidation because their soul not in order. But what you guys say?
I was going Romans 6 and 9.
Run that for me. I ain't gonna be honest, man, because for us being in the word, death shouldn't even be no fear or concern or worry for you. You know why I said it? Because he said he the resurrection and the life. Whosoever live and believe in him shall never taste death. He said, you believe that? You only gonna have trepidation in this game if you don't believe that. Come on, boy.
They say, knowing that Hamashiach being raised from the dead died no more, death have no more dominion over him.
It don't got no more what?
Dominion over
the
him.
Same way Pharaoh in Egypt ain't had no more dominion over you. Come on.
For in that he died on the sin once, but in that he lived on the Elohim.
Let me ask you this question. How many times did they kill the firstborn of Egypt? I thought it was 3 times.
Once.
It was only once? Go ahead.
I said no.
Likewise, reckon you also yourselves to be dead indeed on the sin, but alive on the Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach.
See, their forefathers weren't dead on the sin. That's why they kept wanting to go back. Go ahead.
Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that you shall obey it in the lust thereof. Neither yield you your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto Elohim, as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto Elohim.
They was alive from bondage, wasn't they? Go ahead.
For sin shall not have dominion over you.
Pharaoh ain't got dominion over you no more.
For you are not under the law, but under grace.
Guess what? They wasn't under none of them burdens and them tasks that Pharaoh had going on. They was under the grace of God, because that's how they came up out of there. Go ahead.
What then shall we sin? Because we are not under the law, but under grace.
God forbid.
Know you not that to whom you yield yourself servants to obey, his servants you
Now listen,
are.
before this man even gave them the tables of stone, them people were sinning. Before he even gave it to them, they were sinning and running their mouth. Go ahead.
Say, know you not that to whom you yield yourself servants to obey, his servants you are, to whom you obey.
Whether
of sin unto death,
or
of obedience unto righteousness.
Go ahead.
But Elohim be thanked that you were servants of sin, but you have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you. Being then made free from sin.
Being made what?
Free from sin.
Tell them what free mean, man. Let's see if it means the same thing as kosher.
Thorough, to make free, set at liberty from the dominion of sin.
From the authority of sin. To exempt?
To liberate, to exempt, to deliver, to make free.
We probably have to go sit back and look at that through the course of this week, man. Especially when we talk about resurrection of the dead. You know what I'm talking about? Read me Hebrews 2 one time, man. I want to make sure this word is in here. I might be tripping. Tell me what 2 and 11 say. You can read 10. Hebrews 2 and 10.
It said, for it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto esteem, to make captain of the salvation perfect through suffering. For both he that sanctified and they who are sanctified are all of one.
For which cause
he is not ashamed to call them brethren.
And what else?
Saying, I will declare your name, and to my brethren in the midst of the assembly will I sing praise unto you.
Come on.
And again I'll put my trust in him. And again, behold, I and the children which Elohim hath given me.
Come on.
For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood,
he likewise
took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had power of death, that is the devil.
Yeah, the word of verbiage that I'm looking for is death. My memory serves me.
And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
Who fear death were all their lifetime subject to what?
To bondage.
Hold on. Tell them what bondage means right now, man. Now, I just want to read something right here before he read the definition. Because we read it earlier in Exodus. No, I didn't read it in Exodus 1. It's in Exodus 2, right? And 23, right? And it came to pass in the process of time that the Malach of Mizraim died, and the sons of Yasharal sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto Elohim by reason of the bondage. And Elohim heard their groaning. And Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and Jacob. And Elohim looked upon the sons of Yasharal, and Elohim had respect unto. So bondage there means what, sir?
That's Dulia, slavery, bondage, the condition of a slave.
So you were in the condition of a slave because you were always under the authority, tax, and obligation of death. Would that be correct? Now tell them what bondage means over here in Exodus chapter 2. Because it's a son that set him free in Egypt, didn't it? It just wasn't the son you were thinking about. Now what? What you got for me, sir?
That is avodah, labor, service, work, or labor of a servant or slave, of captives or subjects, service of Elohim.
A labor of a slave.
Or you got bond servant, bondage.
The labor of a slave. Now read that Hebrews 2 one more time.
Saying deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
So all the lifetime that they was in Egypt, they were subject to bondage. And they grown by reason of the bondage, correct? Now I'm going to read this in Romans 8. You just stay right where you at. Come over here, y'all, to Romans chapter 8. Where the verse at? Y'all should know what the verse is, man. 8 and 18 is where I'll begin. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the esteem which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature wait for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope. Because if they willingly subject themselves to the Egyptians, that wasn't something they volunteered for. But the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the sons of Elohim. Now they were delivered from the bondage of corruption in Egypt so they could become the sons of Elohim. This is a foreshadowing of what's coming later. Because that's what the Lord came to do, which is what he's referring to specifically. For we know that the whole creation groan and travail in pain together until now. And that's what they were doing. Were they not groaning by reason of their affliction? Not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Ruach, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man sees, why do he yet hope for? But if we hope for that what we see not, then we do with patience wait for it, which is what they did coming out of Egypt, but then they ain't appreciated on the back end. But that's another story. Come on back and read that Hebrews 2. What verse you in? 14? 2 and 15.
Saying, deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For truly he took not on him the nature of Malachim, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be merciful and faithful high priest. And
if he made like unto his brethren, what that make him? The kinsman redeemer. But you was always subject to bondage, right? And he destroyed him that had power over death. That is the devil. Well, who had power over you in your bondage in Egypt? That's how Pharaoh is representative of the devil. But you know what? Let me read this Exodus 12 to finish this out. Because it's not like, shoot, we got 9 more times. Hold on. 2.5 hours is sufficient. Or somewhere in that time frame. We stopped in what? Verse what? 4. So I'm reading Exodus 12 and 4. If the household be too little for the land, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. Now, of course, you know in the simplistic terms of how this line up with the Lord, this is very simple, obviously. You know he was without blemish because he had no sin. And you know he was Mary's firstborn son. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Yasharal shall kill it in the evening. And which is why what? Did the whole assembly grab him, Civic? Did they kill him in the evening? How they killed him in the evening then? How they killed him in the evening? I said how, not they did. How? How you gonna explain that? She can't explain it. I already asked the question. The question pretty straightforward, man. That ain't answering the question. You say, what's on the menu? I do not know. No, that's not the proper answer to that query. How did they kill him? If you say they killed him in the evening, how you gonna prove it? How you gonna prove it, King? You got your Jaguar jersey on, that means you was ready to play. I guess not. How you gonna prove that? You rubbing your beard.
There you go. That's so good.
It went dark.
All right.
It went dark.
Yeah, it went dark.
What that tell me?
Nighttime.
His mother hit you with the shoe. You wanted to say it.
What you say now? He gave it, but now you got to be more specific. Yeah, y'all already know this here. It went dark when? No, it ain't go dark at evening.
It's 6 hours.
It went dark at the 9th hour. And then he gave up the ghost while it was still dark. And then after 3 hours on there, you know what I'm saying? He done gave up the ghost, and the sun came back out. Then they say, hey, we got to bury him because the sun going down. Passover coming. Well, the first day of unleavened day like this here, man, it's a high Shabbat coming. We got to go. Because we don't want to defile ourselves so we can eat the Passover. Them some dirty niggas. Some wicked niggas. Be like, man, we got to kill a nigga, but I don't want to be a part of it so I can keep my religious observance. Yeah, you got bigger problems. That's correct, Mother Shmoon. That is a nigga move. So verse 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and the upper doorposts of the house wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh of that night, roast with fire, with unleavened bread, with bitter herbs shall they eat it. Now, how did the Lord eat it with bitter herbs? Herbs ain't there, so give me bitter right there, sis. You ever met a bitter hoe? Worst thing in the world.
That's maror. That's a bitter thing. Bitter herb. Bitterness.
No. That's when you're eating the Passover. He ate the bitterness because he said he was exceedingly sorrowful unto death. That man like this here, he ain't eat no herbs. He was already bitter when he sat down. That's why he was praying for that cup to pass. You know what I'm talking about? But you got dudes who be like that because we went to one. You remember that muffin when that nigga had them bitter herbs out there? I damn sure ain't eat none. I'm like, this nigga tripping. You know what I'm saying? All jokes aside, this like what? This was 2012. They were long. This before Leo was born. Yeah, this a long time ago. Man, look here, man. We had way better understanding. Man, praise you. We had better understanding than most. You know what I'm saying? And he had been in the game a good 20 years, folks. When I met him, I only had 3 years in the game. And I knew better than that. He talking about this here. He ain't even had no lamb. If you gonna do it, you can. If you listen, right? If you gonna do it, you have to do it. You can't come with chicken and bitter herb. No, you gotta really go to the farm, get the lamb, firstborn, no blemish, kill him yourself, roast them yourself, and then eat them with the herbs. Not go buy a lamb from the grocery store. Talking about we keeping a Seder. Get the hell out of here, man. You can't do that. Nah, but more people, but guess where that stuff come from? Because a nigga told you that's what you supposed to do. If you don't know no word and somebody show you, see, it's in the law, what you gonna do? You gonna do that. I ain't knocking you for doing it when you don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? I'm really talking about a nigga who teaching people that. Because the dude who we did, he's teaching people that. He looking at me crazy. You ain't gonna get no bitter herb? Nigga, no. I don't need no bitter herbs. This ain't a bitter day. This is a joyous occasion. This is a celebration. We celebrating freedom. Why I want to be bitter thinking about freedom? Nigga, you sound dumb. I ain't never seen a bitter nigga leaving jail unless he had a man in there. He got a boy, he don't want to go. The only way you bitter about freedom because you like being locked up. Shoot, boy, I was ready to get about that hoe. You hear me? I say, boy, this the first and the last. You understand me? Straight like that. Before I even got there. Once the sentence came, man, I'm not finna be going back and forth to prison, cuz. Man, I done told you, man, when you see a dude and he got a C letter, a D letter, a E letter, I mean, C mean he been to prison 4 times. Because no, they give you one, it's a 0. So you got your DC number and then a 0. So if you got a 0, that means it's your first time coming to prison. But if you got an A, you've been twice. You got a B, you've been 3 times. You got a C, 4 times. I'm looking at him like, cuz you did this 4 times? You did this 4 times? Man, I ain't been here 6 months. I was ready to go on the bus here. I'm not coming back to this here, man. And I looked at the word the same way it was saying. So you mean to tell me this man gonna set me free from sin and I'm finna go back and forth? I'm not going back and forth to that, man. It's dead, it's over with. Listen, man, when I walked out of Tallahassee Road prison, boy, I ain't even remember last white. Man, I ain't looked back at that damn place. Nigga, I'm gone. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, I only remember the funny stuff. I don't remember the day-to-day operations of that goddamn place, man. Because I barely remember that. You know what I'm talking about? He over there tripping on something. Man, what you over there looking at?
I said close the doors.
Oh, this nigga stupid. No, I'm dead serious though, man. Like, nah, man, I'm gone. Ain't nothing to remember. I told you, dude told me, yeah, man, you gonna still get up at this amount of time. You still gonna do this. You lying to me. I'm not institutionalized, cuz, but listen, man, you got people who gonna come at you about whatever. Are you still gonna do this and still? Nah, man, I've been free. I'm not institutionalized to sin, nigga. You want me to stay a fornicator because you want. You want me to stay alive because you want. Just because you like being in jail don't mean I do. That man literally bonded me out. You want me to stay in here? Nah, I'm good. Oh, I just seen you had John 19. That's accurate, man. It's a lot of niggas, they like being locked up, man. Nigga got a boy in there. If they ain't got a boy in there, they just I ain't gonna lie though. Some people just institutionalize. They like the oppression and bondage of servitude. And some people like to be oppressed by sin. They like to be oppressed by that fornication. They like porn. They like watching porn and that porn oppressing them. You know what I'm talking about? They sitting there looking at that lotion. He said, your soul said, don't do it. He said, I got him. I'm compelled. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. Straight up, bro. Some people, they be like this here, he got the lie. You know what I'm saying? You ever met a dude, he just got the lie? You know, every time he lying, you try to help him tell the truth. He got to tell you a lie. He compelled. You got some people, they can't never be happy. They always angry. They compelled. Violent all the time. They just compelled. Like, why you want to put your hands on people? No. We just read about a bond man. The man tell you if you commit sin, you deserve the sin. You in bondage to it, and he said that's compelled labor. You feel compelled to do it. You know what I'm saying? Look at man, that boy feel compelled to sleep with every woman he sees. You know what I'm saying? That boy got a perverted lust. He feel compelled to do it. You know, I literally seen a black woman today say that a black homosexual man is a woman's best friend. I wanted to kick that whole teeth out of her mouth. I couldn't even believe she said that. I wanted to kick her teeth straight down her throat. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to snatch her ovaries out. You don't deserve none. And she said a gay man is a woman's best friend. I said, this hoe here don't deserve to reproduce. And any man who saw that, heard that, man, if you would put your wee-wee in her and ejaculate, you deserve every piece of suffering you get. Now, there's some stuff, man, all jokes aside, man, you know, that's one of that being funny, but dead serious, though. It's some stuff, man, when you hear people say certain stuff, man, you supposed to already, see, most people, again, you're compelled. Your loins is compelling you. Remember, we didn't read about it. Your lust is compelling you. You can hear this woman say the most dumbest thing in the world. You can hear this man say the most dumbest thing in the world. You know what a sensible person to say? I wouldn't have sex with this person if they paid me. Not, oh, I'll just pull out. Oh, I'll just take birth control. Or I'll just wear it. No, nigga. You're not supposed to lay with them. You're supposed to stay away from them. Guess what you gonna do? Shoot. I think I could back out of the driveway before the engine burst. Now look at you. Now you got 18 years of trouble. I just read where Anthony Edwards paid all his child support up front. Can you imagine the hatred you got for a woman to pay 216 months of child support up front? But this man paid 216 months of child support up front. It's basketball player. He already asked a woman to have an abortion and paid her for it, and she didn't do it. But you know where that came from? You shouldn't have had sex with a stupid, and you wouldn't have had that problem. Now you want somebody to feel sorry for you? I don't feel sorry for you. You stupid. They do it every day. Man, look at man. Zion Williamson got a baby from a lady who looked like a real deal ant. That's how she built. She bought too much booty. It looks disgusting. And get what he did. Got her pregnant. You know why? Because he was compelled. I'm telling you, you're laughing about it, but I'm being serious. When you are carnal, like we read about them lusts of the flesh last week, when you carnal and you live in your lust compel you to do it. That's why he say it's not me that do it, but the sin that you feel compelled to do it. You like they say, you know you should. You already know, man, I know I shouldn't be messing with this girl. And guess what you do? Go right on around there. I know I shouldn't mess with this man. And guess what you do? Go right on around there. I know I shouldn't smoke this. And guess what you do? Light him. You know, one sip ain't gonna hurt. 5 sips leads to a whole bottle. Now you drunk, throwing up on yourself. Yeah. You feel compelled. You in bondage to it. You don't even, it's a lot of stuff you done did in your life you know you didn't want to do, and you found yourself doing it anyway, and you wondering, why can't I stop? Because you in bondage to it. You was compelled to do it. That's what the word said, didn't it? Come on, man. You were compelled to do it. You like to say, I ain't gonna watch no porn today. Next thing you know, you've been in your room for 2.5 hours. You're coming out like Quagmire. Diggity. This arm bigger than the other. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to set yourself free. That's why the man, I'm telling you, the man say, he that commits sin is the servant of sin. You were slave to it. Your forefathers were slaves to the Egyptians. They were compelled to serve in that fashion. Listen, man, when they tell you this here, man, it's going to be different with violence, with oppression. Look at, man, you got some people like, now this is the extreme, because you may not know people who like real deal killers. They feel compelled to kill at the slightest hint of disrespect. You know what I'm talking about? At the slightest hint of disrespect. At the slightest hint, they like this here, like, well, I'm gonna kill this nigga. You like, brother, ain't even that serious. Remember, that's one of them: thefts, murders, fornicate. Look here, man, a malicious, spiteful person, they feel compelled to behave that way. A contentious person feel compelled to behave that way. You know what I'm talking about? They got to do it. They don't even know they doing it. And when they doing it, they think they the victim while they doing it because they compelled by their lust. They got to do it. They don't even know. So again, I'm trying to like this here, man, and we're using the actual example of them being in bondage in Egypt because they were compelled by taskmasters to participate in these burdens. That's why he say, take my yoke upon you because my burden is what's it? And it's easy. Remember, we read that there, he saying his commandments are not grievous. Ain't nothing about him. Ain't nothing about his word going to compel you to do no wickedness. But I'm telling you, if you just sit back and you look on your life, man, I'm talking about before you was in the word, when you got it, whatever the case may be, if there was any negative behavior you had, well, you felt compelled to do it even when you didn't want to do it. Because that's what sin do. So when that man say, I come to set you free, you'll be free indeed. You're going to be free from all. Now you're not, the only thing you compelled to do is serve God. You don't have no desire for that because you put that to death. People don't tell nobody that. So you think you just and upright because I cooked this Passover lamb, but you still compelled to beat your meat with unleavened bread over with. Some niggas don't even wait. You got people who get baptized in sin as soon as they get out the water. You know what I'm talking about? You got people who say this and that because nobody's letting them understand, like, hey, boy, like, you really in bondage to that, blood. You really got to be set free. Look at, man, I done been locked up with people, man, who feel like they have to commit crime. You know what I'm saying? Some of them will be like this here. They get out, man, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that, I ain't doing it, woo, woo, woo. But they feel, because they feel they compelled to have, by situation and circumstance, I have to do it. I have to do it. It's not even the fact that this person necessarily want to go back to jail, but they compelled to live that life because they're going back around the same people, doing the same stuff, same environment. I feel compelled to do it. You know what I'm saying? What else is it for me to do? That's the same reason why when he tell you, I sanctified you from other people, that you should be mine. I'm going to remove you from people because if you stay around those people, you could be compelled to do such and such. That's why he say, he that suffered in the flesh cease from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his time to the lust of the flesh, but to the will of God. And don't marvel when people who used to run to do excess of evil with speak evil of you. Because now you're not compelled to do that, and they don't understand why you're not compelled to do X, Y, Z. I don't want to do that. Bro, I smoked weed for 20 years. I don't have, look at when I stopped, there was no desire to do that. I enjoy, they thought I was joking the other day. We talking about like, bro, I smoked marijuana from the time I got up to the time I went to sleep. And I got up maybe 9, 10 in the morning. Nigga, we've been hustling all night. I'm not going to sleep till 6, 7 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we outside, you woke up, boy, you want to smoke one, boy? You see your homeboy, roll in. You don't even need no excuse. They go, my nigga, man, you ain't smoking one, boy. We finna roll in. You don't even really want to smoke the weed. Yeah, you do, but you know what I'm saying? But you ain't really got, you just smoke one. You know what I'm saying? But your homeboy roll up, you like, he's sober. I can't let him stay like that. That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, then we ain't going to sleep. And it's amazing how a nigga was able to stay up like that on weed like that. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I mean, crack at nighttime, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what they told you. The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out. You know about that, don't you? See? You don't know about that? I know you from New York. You look like your mom didn't play Houdini. So you ain't never heard the freaks come out at night. My Doris be in here lying. I know you was in there pop locking. You look like an old Brooklyn pop locking nigga. Your daddy used to play that song? Yeah, your daddy used to play that song. The freaks come out at night. So your dad ain't play Houdini. I know Trina played Houdini. She looked like she liked Houdini. She was who? So listen, who? I can't hear you. Oh, so she would listen to JT Money. Oh, so your mama would ride around with you playing I Hate Ho. Hoes Hate Me. Oh, your mama was corrupting you. She was corrupting you. My mama ain't ride around playing none of that. She had records in the house, though. She listened to the radio. No, she did. My mama ain't really play music in the house. And she didn't keep a car long enough to ride around playing that either. What you say, mother? Look, if she had that she had a Mitsubishi shoe. Huh? I mean, it's funny because we passed it. It wasn't funny then. You know what I'm talking about? No, man, my mama had a Mitsubishi. Shooting Cracker came and got that. And she had a Mazda. Yeah, they came and got that. You know what I'm saying? Out of that shoe, she catch the bus. And she did have that Ford, but that was after. But I ain't gonna lie though. At that, when she got that Ford, that was towards the back end, and she wasn't really up. She wasn't fit to be driving like that. Yeah, we talk. No, because I was watching a video the other day. We finna get ready to get off here, right? Dude, the repo man, right? The nigga trying to, now you got to picture this in your mind. So say this the apartment building. The cars. That nigga stupid as hell.
No, she ran his hand.
No, she ran his head over. Man, it's the car back this way. He got the truck like this here. The nigga jump in the car. This stupid nigga gets up under the car to hook the thing on it.
This nigga put his head
Under the tire, bro. And the nigga pulled up and nigga said, "You ran over my head." Hey. He still went up. He did that to himself. That nigga just rolled it on the ground. You ran over my head. Damn. He deserved that though. Only reason why he ain't died is because Cuz he couldn't go fast enough to where that jump would have crushed his skull.
Yeah, he was right under the tires, so it was like speed bump.
That nigga head was a speed bump. I'm talking about, bro, the nigga trying to back up, but he ain't got nowhere to go. So that's why I'm like, why would you get up under that thing? I'm gonna just keep the truck. Like, where are you going? You can't go nowhere. But the one thing I wouldn't have did, I know niggas. That nigga finna crank that car. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not sticking my head up under that, man. You crank that car.
I seen the video when he was backing up and reverse going around the corner.
Oh, he did. I thought he said hand, but he did say hand. It was a red car.
Yeah, looked like a little Ford. I don't want the money for the car that bad. I don't want the payment that bad, bro. That nigga could have died, cuz. That nigga could have died, cuz.
I seen them running jump in that car.
He could have died, cuz.
They said once they're in the car, you ain't even supposed to pull off.
Man, once they get in the car, hey, you got it. I couldn't do that job because, man, you people be volatile. You know, now, a tow truck driver told me they don't come get your car till you're 90 days behind. So you already know you ain't been paying them people. So why is you mad with this man for coming to get your car? You already know you ain't been paying them people. You know they coming. You know what I'm saying? Then you talking about, hold on, I need to call them people. The people don't want to talk. You ain't paid a note in 8 months. Man, if you running out the house doing that, you already know why he here. Now you going to jail. You could have just lost the car, and catch the bus. Now you got to make sure that you don't drop the soap. Now you got to pay bond money. Probably not that long, but it's the inconvenience to your whole life.
You better let him take the car from
Yeah, before I go to jail for a felony, you could take the car. He couldn't get nowhere.
Oh, they got out.
Oh, he got up out of there? Oh, I ain't watching long enough. Oh, they stopped.
Left that nigga on the ground.
Then they know the stupid part is, dumb nigga, they got your address. That's how they was able to come there, and they got your people name. You not getting away with that. Niggas. 12 and 10 exited, man. Matter of fact, man, look at it. And you shall have nothing of it remain until the morning, that remain of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. And thus you shall eat with your loins girded and your shoes on your feet and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahuwah's Passover. That's why they tell you got to eat it fast. He said, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night and will smite the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both of man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt will I execute judgment. I am Yahuwah. Well, guess what? He ain't passing through nothing, so you take your time to eat. Because if you get heartburn, you only on. But we'll deal with the rest of it, man. Hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. I appreciate y'all. I bless y'all at the house. Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, we'll be back at it tomorrow night. Remember, we're going to be going till next Wednesday. Because the feast ends Wednesday night, but it's still regular timing, regular Wednesday service. So that's still going down. So remember, Saturday is a double header, a double feature, if you would. All times are posted, Feast 10K, all times are posted in the community tab. So be advised. So I appreciate y'all for sure, Eric. Shalom, man. But let's read it. We read it earlier, but let's read 1 Corinthians 11. You will brook me. That's all good. 11 and 22 one more time. How long you been over there, house? You was asleep. You look like you was asleep. Your breath changed. No. 11 and 22.
They say, what? Have you not houses to eat and to drink in, or despise you the assembly of Elohim, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua the same night in which he was betrayed took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake and said, take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
Mm-hmm.
After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do you as often as you drink in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the blood of the body and blood of the Lord.
So remember, all them people out there that asked that to kill him, they ain't had no respect for the Father. So when you drink it unworthy, that means saying that if you don't have respect for God, then don't do it. And how do you not have respect for God? Because you're doing what you want to do. Now, listen, right? This ain't about, oh, I was doing what I wanted to do 3-4 years ago. This is talking about when you're in the Word. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the Word. Not some junk from 5-6 years ago. Because if you wasn't in the Word 5-6 years ago, I don't even know why you counting that. You know what I'm saying? But to have no respect for this man and claim to serve him at the same time is not diabolical. It's outright ungodly, dastardly, and just unabashedly wicked all the way around the board. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead, see. Because see, diabolical denotes some type of planning of some elaborate wicked device. You know what I'm saying?
He said, but let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup.
See, let him do what?
Examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup.
I see him doing this here for the people who not here physically. So he said, let him do what? Examine himself. Right? Tell him what examine means. You ever got examined before?
What?
Everybody in here been examined. You've been to a doctor. Somebody examined you. Some of you got examined at the crazy house. I know you got examined at the crazy house. See how you just gave that look? Yeah. You probably the last person to go to Charter by the Sea before they close down. You know what that is? Crazy house. It's all right. They gave you some pills.
Dr. Mazzo To test, examine, prove, scrutinize to see whether a thing is genuine or not. To recognize it's genuine after examination.
To recognize if it's genuine after examination.
To prove, to deem worthy.
Psalms 4:1. Then 2 Corinthians 13. That means, man, you got to examine yourself, prove you're a real nigga. You really own what you say you own? You know what I'm saying? Because you just running your gator, running your wee suckers, as some people like to say.
So hear me when I call, O Elohim of my righteousness.
Oh, niggas do say that in a disrespectful tone. I've said it plenty of times. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga running this, you know what I'm saying? This penis sucker, nigga, shut your mouth. Shoot, lying to me. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, I know some y'all niggas from Jacksonville, Florida. You ain't never heard nobody say that?
No, sir.
Dude, you heard nigga saying that there. That mean, nigga, man, you talking real stupid, nigga. And I ain't got no respect for nothing you talking about if I say you running your penis suckers, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Already let it be known, boy. Once you say that, you already let niggas. I don't care nothing about what you talking about, and we can fight about it too. Straight like that. You know what I'm talking about? You don't say something like that with a tinge of respect. There's no respect in any of that verbiage. You know what I'm saying? No. Now, real Southern white men will say you running your gator. No, but they ain't talking about nothing like this. They're not being disrespectful. You still running your gator. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't never heard that neither? You ain't never heard that? Man, you ain't from Jacksonville, Florida. You've been around them. Who you been around? Because I done heard that my entire life. Both of them. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't gonna lie. Shoot, the wee sucking, the first person I ever heard say that was a white man. You know what I'm talking about? That's the first person. Before I heard a black man say that, I heard several white men say that one. Like this, you know, white men talk to each other different. You know what I'm saying? No, for sure, Mika. Now, you know, white people, they talk to, you know what I'm saying? Because they say some stuff like this. Man, the first time I heard a white man say, F me running, I say, boy, what in the world? You know, they just throw out random, you know what I'm saying? So just be like this here, like, that is wild. You know what I'm saying? But come on, Sid.
So hear me when I call, O Elohim of my righteousness. You have enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O you sons of men, how long will you turn my esteem into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah. But know that Yahuwah has set apart him that is godly for himself. Yahuwah will hear him when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still.
Commune with your what?
With your own heart upon your bed and be still.
Tell them what commune means.
That's a mar, to say, speak, utter, to answer, to say in one's heart, to think, to command, to promise, to intend, to avow, to avouch.
That's 2 Corinthians 13:1. That way I ain't got to read Corinthians twice. I need to read it twice, so you got it. I bet you do got it, nigga. Go ahead.
You want me to start from the first?
Yep.
Say, this is the third time I'm coming to you. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. I told you before and foretell you as if I were present. The second time, and being absent now, I write to them which heretofore have sinned, and to all others that if I would come again, I will not spare. Since you seek a proof of a Mashiach speaking in me, which toward you word is not weak, but is mighty in you. For though he was crucified through weakness, yet he lived by the power of Elohim. For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of Elohim toward you. Examine yourselves.
Do what?
Examine yourselves.
Why?
Whether you be in the faith.
Except.
Prove your own self.
Prove your what?
Not, prove your own selves.
Know you what?
Know you not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except you be reprobate.
Except you be reprobate.
But I trust that you shall know that we are not reprobate.
That's right.
Now I pray to Elohim that you do no evil, not that we should appear approved.
That's good. He said you got to examine yourselves whether you be in the faith or not. You're the only person that can answer that question. You know what I'm saying? Others can observe it from your behavior, but you got to examine yourself to make sure that you're genuine and this is what you want to do. So again, I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, we'll be back tomorrow. And until that time, Peace and love, me. I mean, Misha. I'm sorry.